Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Thank you for joining me. I hope you are well. And today we're going to really identify that transition again, what we did yesterday, and just take it that little bit further into the new and last movement. So there is a lot to do. So what I'm going to do is less talking from me now. We're going to get straight into our warm-ups, warm up the body, get into that mindset, get into our chi state, and then I'll start talking again to go through the to the new movement. So I can already hear some of you cheering that I'm not going to be talking as much. Pete, that's enough. Right, okay. Let's settle in. Wuchi. Breathe. Three treasures. Tip of the tongue. Soften your joints. Just ensure there's no tension across your brows, in your cheeks. Sinking your mind into your lower dantian. Conscious practice. Noticing. Good. Gently start to shake. Cool, that could have been one of those mornings where I stood in Wu Chi for a long time. Do you ever get those? I wonder if you do. Loosening, shaking, stimulating, awakening, letting go. All of this stuff happening whilst we shake. So ensure that you use that intention as well, that your mind isn't wandering off and you're actually intending what you want to happen with the shake. Good. And slow that down, widen your stance, let slosh. So very much like the pushing horizons movement, this sloshing comes without setting this keystone, the capstone into the arch that I spoke about yesterday. We're still able to rock and slosh and flow and sway. And obviously, our awareness is on our breathing too. Wonderful. And bring your feet back in. Into swing one. Nice and gently. Breathe. Gently unwinding the tension, wringing it out. Good. Lovely swinging. When you're ready, swing two. And just paying attention to your knees. Keep the top half of your body nice and light. That's good. A few more and then we'll transition to swing three, and we'll do that now. That's making sure the swing opens up your armpits and you feel the chest opening a little. Lovely, few more. Might feel yourself breathing a little harder, just a little harder, heart pumping a little bit more. They're all good things. Fabulous. And slow that down. Good. Just settle for a moment back into Wu Chi. Good. Okay. Wriggle toes, wriggle fingers, wriggle nose. Good, good. Okay. So, from yesterday, I started off as I tried to with a transition, because it's really important, as you now know, to go from one movement to the other without a break. So what I'm going to do today is show you the transition from movements 7, 8, 9, and I'm going to do that so you can just see the difference in the leg stance, the bow stance, and how we go from the golden orb to pushing horizons to the final movement and floating clouds, flowing water, and the difference in the bow stance and how the small little adjustment that we need to make to go from those. It will make sense in just a moment. So what we're going to do now together is the golden orb. We're just going to do 2 of the golden orb. So this is the one where we paint with our fingers and hands up and down. Good. We're just going to do a couple. Big circle. So this is practicing to remember. And up and down. Up and down. Right, let's do that again. This time really slow it down, because at the end of this movement we're going to transition into movement 8, pushing horizons. Up and out. Excellent. So as the hands come down, they rise for that final pulse. Good. Then the hands float to the sides of the body, creating your bird's beaks. From your wrists, the hands rise up. As we do, we shift weight. Remember, not lean, so shift weight into one side of your body. Widen your stance. When you widen your stance, the foot goes out on the angle slightly. And then as it goes out, you can start to extend in that same direction with the foot that went outwards. Good. Now, once you've sloshed over this side with your hand open, that gives you the opportunity to turn that foot out. So then we come back in and we slosh the other way. And do this for a couple of moments whilst just bring your awareness to the sloshing movement. It's very similar, the body anyhow, very similar to our slosh that we do when we warm up. So there's no locking of the pelvis here, it's a slosh. You can relax your arms now. Okay, good. So from this section, introduce your arms again. From sloshing. Once more, and now bring your hand, whichever it is, back in and bring your body to the center. Okay, so balanced over both feet. And from here, with your hands still in your sort of bird's beaks position, we're still at the end of pushing horizons, we sink. Okay, so the knees bend, as you can see that, and we sink and we place the capstone, the keystone of the pelvis into the arch, which creates this strong position with our weight going down through the legs, not into the knees, but through the legs into the balls of the feet. Okay, so from here we're slightly up, the knees aren't so bent and we're sloshing. Then we come to the center, then we sink that keystone in, the pelvis in, to create the nice strong arch. Okay, so that's the difference, but that's how we get from one to the other. Okay? So let's do that again, because it's really, really important. I do reiterate this because over the years, one of the most common questions is, Deniz, I can't remember the transitions. Deniz, I can't remember the transitions. And then that stops the flow, the beautiful flow of Qigong. So that's why I'm spending some time on this with you. And that's transitions between any movement, by the way, any form, any movement is always the tricky bit. Okay, so we're going to come back to our normal stance. We're going to just do the end of movement 7, golden orb. So that pulse. So it's up and down. Hands float out to the sides. Bird's beaks, pushing horizon. Shift your weight, whichever side you wish to. Extend outwards. Take your foot off onto the angle. Extend through your arm. Now, before you go to the other side, just turn your foot out a little. And now you can extend that way. So we haven't locked the pelvis. It's free flowing. Good. Now come back to the center. Bird's beaks. Sink down with your keystone to create that strong arch. Okay, so when you sink down, make sure that your pelvis doesn't tuck under. So when you sink down, so I'm doing this movement here previously. When you come to set that keystone, your pelvis, make sure it's not like this, and you're sinking into your quad. So you're actually defining the creases of the quad, your inguinal creases even more here. Okay. Good, and then that means that your lower half of the body is prepared for the final movement, and this is where it stays until we finish the set to the form. Okay, once more, I'm going to turn around and do it back on. Okay, so we can start off with the final pulse of movement 7, the golden orb. We'll do this together. Okay, so when you're ready, up and down. Into pushing horizons, movement 8. Shift weight. Step out, foot onto the diagonal, extend, look. Good. Turn the other foot out just a little. So it's off parallel. Great. Sloshing, do this a few times. Feel the sloshing. Good. Now bring whichever hand is out back in. Forward, make sure your weight's even, and sink down without tucking in and really getting that defined crease in the inguinal space. Excellent. So from there, what do we do with the hands? Now we've got the leg work and now we've got that transition for the leg work. How do we transition the hands, which is quite simple really, but I'm going to go through this with you, into the ball. Okay. So from up, down, extend out, turn foot, extend out. Good, I'm going to bring this in. Wait, I sink, create my strong arch, and then both hands come down. I open up my bird's beaks and I create my ball. Now, I'm going to turn to the side as you see this. You should be able to see some space here. So I haven't brought my ball in touching my belly, and it's not too far out. It's in a nice comfortable space where I can relax my shoulders and my arms. Okay, so and this, when we've got the arc, the strong arch, keystone set of the pelvis, and this space here is the center of your ball, is at your navel. Okay, that's how we go from here to here. Here, I sink my keystone with my hands. Okay, fabulous. So now we get into the movement. Now we've done the transition, we get into the movement. Just an aid, okay, so you can see what I'm doing. So once I've gone from my bird's beaks and I sink to create my ball in front of me. Now, Next thing to remember is the direction you move in is the arm that's at the top and your elbow's pointing in that direction. So I'm going to be going this way because my arm's at the top. Okay. So now I've got this ball of chi from this imaginary rectangle that I also mentioned to you yesterday that we traced out on the body, and by all means you can do that again now, or you can just dot the four corners like I am now, and then I link those four corners up with my mind. I turn my imaginary rectangle with my ball in front of me, with my ball of chi. Now this doesn't move separate, my arms don't move separate. The only thing that moves now is my pelvis a few degrees to the direction of my top arm, and they move together. So it's not my hands move and then my body moves, they all move because my rectangle is moving, and because my rectangle is attached to my shoulders, arms, hands, they all move together as one piece, but they're not stiff. Good. Now, here, I turn my ball of chi. That then makes this arm, the top elbow that way, this one at the bottom. So now, with my imaginary rectangle, I turn the other way. So I go past center, and I take my rectangle without it skewing. So we want to keep it a rectangle. We don't want to create an S shape. So it's not much. You might not feel that I'm turning very much, but you're doing a lot inside. Good. Then turn your ball and go the other way. And we just turn. Okay, so I'm going to put that down now. You get the drift with what happens with the ball. Whichever hand on top. And let's turn. And as you reach, as you feel that you're reaching the extent of where you're moving your body, slowly start to turn your ball before you arrive there, because otherwise what happens is this will happen. You'll go there, you'll turn your ball, then you'll go the other side, you'll turn your ball, and that involves your body stopping, and we don't want that. We want to create flow. So this is about timing now. So as I turn to the side, I slowly start to turn my hands so they arrive, having turned my ball of chi, still in front of my lower dantian. Same the other side. Good. Now, what can often happen is this. If you look at where my ball is going, it starts to rise. Keep it on your lower dantian. And just to double check that you're moving in the right direction, you're moving in the direction of the top arm where your elbow is pointing. Good. So your keystone is locked. Because it's locked, you're not going to be able to move too far. You're not going to be able to turn your imaginary rectangle too far, as if it wasn't locked, you're better to do this, but you can see it's all distorted. We don't want that, so lock it by sinking down. And this is the first part of the movement. Wonderful. Okay, so shake up your legs. So we're going to go from where we started off today. We're going to go from movement 7. Just going to do the finish off with the pulse of the golden orb. Then we're going to go into movement 8, the pushing horizon. So we're going to then change our stance from normal to bow. And then we're going to do one each side. Come back in, sink, form our ball, and then do exactly as we've done a few times each side, and see how that process goes. Ready? I hope that's a yes. Okay. So, gentle pull, finish off the golden orb. Good. Into movement 8, pushing horizons. Hands up, lifted by your wrists. Shift weight one side, not a lean, it's a shifting of weight. Widen your stance. Look. Good. Before you go back, just turn the other foot out a little. Excellent. Come back. And back. Center yourself. Now, as the hands come down, we sink to place the keystone, the pelvis down, create that strong arch, and our ball of chi in front of us. Good. Now move in the direction of the top elbow. Move your rectangle as one piece. Excellent. And back to the center. Good. Shake out. Let's do that again. Exactly the same. Let's repeat that. So, last pulse of golden orb. Up and down. Into pushing horizons. Lifted by the wrists. Shift weight. Extend to bow stance. Out. Turn foot. Both back into the center. Sink your keystone, your pelvis. Create your ball of chi. Turn from your rectangle. Direction of your top elbow. And back to the center. Good. And then before you move out of this position, where's your weight? Just make sure your weight's not in your heels and you're leaning back. Your weight needs to be just fractioned into the balls of your feet, okay, so the front of your feet. But you don't want to be clinging on with your toes. Okay, so just to double check these things, otherwise by doing that you're going to close up your lower back, and by the actual movement that we're doing also, as well as other things, but it's helping to open up your lower spine. So if we put our weight into our heels, we're contradicting what we're trying to do. We're trying to go against the grain because we put all the weight in there, spine's done, compressed, and we're trying to move it and it's not going to move so much. As soon as the weight goes to the balls of the feet and we relax the buttocks and lower spine, we sink in, that opens it up. So when we're doing this, that allows very gentle opening movement of your lower spine and therefore the rest of your spine. Okay, right, let's do that again. Up and down into pushing horizons. Extend, turn foot, good, and out, back in, sink your keystone, create your ball of chi, good, make sure your weights and balls of your feet turn with your rectangle, turn your ball of chi. Fabulous. Back to the center and down. Excellent. So how's that going for you? Please let me know. Do you have any questions for that? There's a lot to take on board there. I appreciate that's why I'm taking my time and we're repeating it, which we're going to do one final time again now. But if you do have any questions, then please do get them into me. If you don't, then we are going to slowly start to move on to that second part of that final movement, which is only an adjustment of the hands. I say only, it's an adjustment of the hands. We'll see when we get there. But please do let me know. Okay, let's do that once more. Then we'll close out today's class. And down. Bird's beaks, pushing horizon, shift weight but not lean. Sink into that leg, good. Extend outwards, bow stance. Turn the other foot out, excellent. Back to center, turn your head, extend the other way. Bring your hand back, bring your body back to center. Bring your weight over to the balls of your feet. As your hands come down and open, sink your keystone, your pelvis, create your ball of chi. Turn and move the direction of your top elbow, rotating your ball of chi. And back to the center. Fabulous. Okay, narrow stance. And together, let's close. Nice long extended inhale. Extended exhale. And close. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for your company. It's always appreciated. Look after yourselves, look after each other. Stay safe, and until tomorrow, take care. Bye-bye.